Based on expert analysis and various sources, here are the 10 most powerful mafia organizations in the world. Number 1. 'Ndrangheta, Italy. The 'Ndrangheta, rooted deep in the rugged terrains of Calabria in southern Italy, is more than just a mafia group. It's an international powerhouse controlling vast global operations. Why does it matter so much? Because its grip is like steel. Here are some fascinating truths. $53 billion in annual revenue, 2013. Imagine the GDP of some smaller countries. That's how vast their financial empire is. Their operations make them unrivaled. 80% of Europe's cocaine market. Picture 8 out of 10 lines of cocaine in Europe coming from this organization. They dominate this illicit trade like no other. Over 40 countries infiltrated. With their highly secretive family-based structure, breaking into the 'Ndrangheta's web is nearly impossible. They've made family their armor, ensuring loyalty that even governments struggle to penetrate. Their success doesn't rely on violence alone, but on strategic networking. Even multinational corporations can learn from their efficiency, though obviously not their methods. Number 2. Sinaloa Cartel, Mexico. Despite the high-profile arrest of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the Sinaloa Cartel remains a towering figure in the drug trade. But don't take my word for it. Let's dive into why they're so feared and respected. The most powerful in Latin America. Not just a cartel, but a legend in the criminal underworld. 25% of illegal drugs entering the U.S. Think about that. 1 in every 4 illegal drugs crossing into the U.S. originates from them. $3 billion annual revenue. They're not a back-alley operation. They're a multinational drug enterprise. Their influence is rooted in a mix of brutal enforcement and strategic alliances. They know how to wield fear, but also how to work smart, keeping their operations efficient even as authorities crack down. Number 3. Russian Mafia, Bratva. When you hear the words Russian Mafia, images of cold, calculating criminals often come to mind, and that stereotype isn't far from the truth. The Bratva, an umbrella term for the Russian Mafia, is a global network that operates like a shadow government. Here's why. Structured hierarchy. Think of it as a corporate ladder, only deadlier. Orders flow top-down, with ruthless precision. Diverse criminal activities. From drug trafficking to weapons smuggling to sophisticated money laundering schemes, their portfolio is as varied as a Fortune 500 company. Solntsevskaya Bratva. This faction alone boasts 9,000 members. That's like having a small army at their disposal. The Russian Mafia's influence extends beyond borders, proving that crime doesn't need a passport to thrive. Number 4. Sicilian Cosa Nostra, Italy. If mafia history had a birthplace, it would be Sicily. The Cosa Nostra isn't just a criminal organization, it's the archetype of the modern mafia. Here's why they still hold their ground. 19th century roots. Their traditions are as old as the Italian hills. Diverse criminal ventures. From racketeering to money laundering, they've done it all. Estimated revenues of $50 billion, 2005. Their financial footprint is staggering. While weakened over the years, the Cosa Nostra's legacy continues to influence organized crime globally. Number 5. Yamaguchi Gumi, Japan. The Yamaguchi Gumi is no ordinary criminal group. It's the largest Yakuza faction in Japan, operating with both brutality and finesse. Here's what you need to know. 39,000 members. They make up nearly half of Japan's gangsters. Ties to politics. Their relationships with politicians and right-wing groups give them an edge that's hard to combat. Diverse operations. From traditional extortion to legitimate-looking businesses, their reach is vast. The Yamaguchi-gumi operates with a sense of honor, a twisted code, but one they adhere to with precision. Number 6. Italian-American Mafia, United States. The Italian-American Mafia, immortalized in films like The Godfather, still holds sway, albeit in a diminished capacity. But don't underestimate them. Strongholds in New York and Chicago. These cities remain their beating hearts. Key activities. From loan sharking to racketeering, they know how to keep the cash flowing. While no longer at their peak, their legacy continues to shape public perceptions of organized crime in America. Number 7. Camorra, Italy. Naples' infamous Camorra stands apart with its unique decentralized structure. Why does this matter? Because it makes them harder to dismantle. Let's look at the details. Drug trafficking and extortion. These are their bread and butter. Violent inter-clan conflicts. Internal wars keep them perpetually on edge, but also make them feared. The Camorra's resilience lies in their adaptability and fierce territorial loyalty. Number 8. Triads, China, Hong Kong. One of the oldest criminal organizations globally, the Triads mix ancient traditions with modern-day ruthlessness. Here's what makes them unique. Origins in 1760. They're not just surviving, they're thriving centuries later. Drug trafficking expertise, especially heroin, which they move with surgical precision. Global bases. From Hong Kong to Bangkok, they're deeply entrenched. The Triads are a testament to the enduring nature of organized crime. Number 9. D Company, India. Based in Mumbai, D Company operates like a sinister shadow in the bustling city. Here's why they're notorious. Dawood Ibrahim, a name that sends shivers down spines worldwide. Diverse crimes, from extortion to various other serious, their reach is extensive. Bollywood links. Their ties to India's film industry make them uniquely positioned to influence culture. D Company's blend of crime and politics makes it a force to be reckoned with. Number 10. Mexican drug cartels, various. While the Sinaloa cartel often gets the spotlight, other Mexican cartels form a dangerous ecosystem. Let's highlight why they matter. Brutal violence. Their methods are shocking and effective. Territorial expansion. They're moving into Central and South America, spreading their influence. Death tolls. Thousands die annually in their relentless wars. Together, these cartels are reshaping the criminal landscape of the Americas. These organizations, each with its own unique traits, demonstrate the persistent challenge that global law enforcement faces. Their influence extends far beyond their countries of origin, impacting lives and economies worldwide. The fight against them is as much a battle of wits and resources as it is of strength. Organized crime isn't what it used to be in the eyes of the public. The cloak and dagger allure has been replaced by a more complex reality. In some instances, individuals linked to mafia organizations aren't just lurking in shadows. They're stepping into the spotlight as philanthropists, business tycoons, and even cultural icons. Take a moment to think about this transformation. How do we end up admiring the wealth and power of people whose backgrounds raise serious questions? This phenomenon has blurred the lines, making it harder to draw clear moral distinctions. Wealth, it seems, has a way of reframing narratives, often painting these figures as bold or savvy rather than criminal. In certain regions, mafia-like organizations have done something astonishing. They've managed to embed themselves into the cultural fabric. How? By appropriating local values and traditions, they've made themselves seem less like criminals and more like community leaders. In areas where state presence is weak, these groups often step in, providing services and stability, but at a cost. This strategic move fosters loyalty and even admiration from local populations. Think about it. If someone fixes your roads, ensures safety, and offers loans when no bank will, wouldn't you feel a bit indebted? This cultural intertwining complicates efforts to combat organized crime, as these groups gain a veneer of legitimacy. Let's take a step back and think globally. Public reactions to organized crime aren't universal. They're shaped by local realities. In countries like Denmark, Finland, and Singapore, where organized crime is minimal, trust in institutions and civic honesty are high. People follow the rules because they believe in the system. Contrast this with countries like Italy, Mexico, and Russia, where organized crime is deeply entrenched. Here, trust in institutions plummets, and civic honesty takes a hit. Why? Because when governments fail to act as moral compasses, people often turn to alternative power structures, even if those structures are criminal. The media wields incredible power in shaping public perceptions. Consider this. In India, terms like land mafia or mining mafia grab headlines and ignite public outrage. Why? Because the word mafia itself carries a weight that other terms simply don't. It evokes danger, illegitimacy, and a need for urgent action. Media outlets know this, and they use it to drive attention to certain issues. This dynamic has a double-edged effect. It raises awareness, but can also sensationalize and oversimplify complex issues. Organized crime isn't just a local issue, it's a global one. Over the years, international bodies like the UN Security Council, Interpol, and the G7 have held numerous high-level discussions on this pressing issue. Why now? Because the stakes have never been higher. Organized crime has globalized, infiltrating everything from international trade to digital spaces. The sheer scale of their operations demands coordinated multinational responses. This isn't just about fighting crime. It's about protecting economies, democracies, and even the integrity of global markets. Here's a sobering thought. The presence of organized crime doesn't just corrupt institutions. It also affects ordinary people. In countries plagued by mafia-like organizations, civic honesty, the willingness to do what's right, takes a nosedive. Why? Because when people see corruption at the top, they lose faith in the system. It's a domino effect. Weakened institutions lead to weakened morals among citizens. This erosion of shared values doesn't just harm democracy. It undermines the very fabric of society. Sometimes, brushes with organized crime come in the most unexpected ways. One person recounted a story involving their grandfather, who had unknowingly assisted some Italian businessmen. When a doctor attempted to dodge repaying a loan, the grandfather helped mediate the situation. Little did he know, these businessmen were connected to the mafia. The family would later receive sporadic inquiries about whether they were in the family business, a nod to their perceived association with organized crime. This story illustrates how ordinary people can unwittingly find themselves linked to the shadowy world of organized crime, often through seemingly benign interactions. These anecdotes reveal the multifaceted nature of organized crime and its intersections with everyday life. From acts of generosity to moments of danger, mafia-like organizations leave an indelible mark on the communities they touch. While their actions often challenge the law, their influence goes beyond criminality, shaping perceptions, relationships, and even local cultures. Such stories remind us that the world of organized crime isn't confined to sensational headlines or Hollywood films. It's a complex and pervasive reality, woven into the fabric of society in ways both visible and hidden. As we reflect on these anecdotes, we're left with a deeper understanding of the paradoxical role these groups play, both feared and, in some cases, unexpectedly admired.